What's up, everybody? I'm K. Marie.
I'm Lou.
I'm Mary.
And we are
Murked in the Midwest.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi.
That sounded poetic.
As always, if you are looking for a podcast that gets straight to the point, that gives you the facts and nothing else, that you know exactly what you're going to get when you turn it on, that is not here.
Nope.
That
We
is
don't do
okay.
that.
Exit stage left.
Mm-hmm.
Go, leave. Bye. Get out. We don't want you here. All right. Now
We
that they're
want you
gone,
here only.
The people that are here. Hello.
We love you.
Our
You're
people.
part of a secret society.
Ooh, yes, our mid-Merkers. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know what's so weird about that name? Like, as it's typed, it looks weird, but when I say it out loud,
It just feels right.
I like it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like written out is very weird.
It looks straight.
Mid-Merkers.
Mid-Merkers. Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Yeah, it's a lot of. But mid-Merkers sound kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we are here in season 3 of Jilted Lovers, and it is another episode
Mm-hmm.
of Love Gone Wrong.
Ooh, so
But
wrong.
before we get there, let's recap
A recap.
the episode from last week.
Bring the cap,
Which
put it back on.
Jesus ain't in that. Jesus wasn't in that.
Jesus had no big sandals. Had no part of that.
Whatsoever.
You know, he said, I am sitting up high and looking low, and that looks like a hot mess.
You know, I feel like God was just looking down and was like, "Oh, oh my," and then just kind of like backed out the situation. He was like, "I can't help you there. You can answer to me later."
I wish the guy, instead of approaching the pastor and taking him and his family out the church, I wish he would have just left her.
I think so too. I think that would have been the best solution to the problem, because at the end of the day, like in any relationship that you are in, and this goes for men, women, if you are dealing with a homosexual relationship, it doesn't matter. When you are dealing with a relationship, you are in a relationship with that person. That's the person you are committed to. They are the person that's responsible for faithfulness. The other person that's dating them or sneaky linking or whatever you want to call it, they didn't make a commitment to
Well,
you.
you know, that's not why he approached him, though.
He approached him because of the money.
Because of the money.
But he had suspicions about so it was a couple of things. He approached him about the money, but he was talking to him about the problems about his marriage, and he had feelings like his wife was cheating. So he had multiple things going on, and he should have just left that woman. Like, just leave her alone.
Yep. Gone.
Be gone. You know she's
you
not
knew that
fit.
baby wasn't yours.
You
Like, he
knew
knew that
it.
baby wasn't
He was not the pappy.
And you know she wasn't being faithful to you. You know that she was completely in love. Like, if it's already a joke around the church that, you know, she sure is doing a lot of therapy.
Air quote.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully support that kind of therapy, but like not if you married.
And not with your pastor.
And not with your pastor. Like,
It's a little too.
but you know, sometimes that can be freeing. Don't you agree? Don't you agree that type of therapy is good for you? Don't you feel better?
Hey.
That is true.
Very true.
That is true.
I think we all can speak to that. Because sometimes you just
Sometimes you just gotta release.
let one go.
I know.
Let it go. Just think of Elsa and let it go. Let it go.
I want to go see her in Denzel. Sorry. Right. I want to like just go look her in the face. Like, hey, you have a beautiful voice now.
Yes.
Anyways, so on to this week's episode.
Are you ready for this? Boom 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 do 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 do.
Y'all ready for this?
Boom boom boom.
We have.
Coco said she ready.
Look, she lit.
She said, I'm ready, y'all.
What you got to say to the people?
She said, hold on, let me tell them. She said,
my birthday coming up.
Mine is too.
August 17th is my birthday.
Oh,
my fellow Leo, my twin.
She was like, Leo gang.
She said, I accept presents and treats and whatever you want to send me.
Exactly.
So, this episode is actually going to be a part of our Not So Murked in the Midwest segment. That is where we cover. It's still going to be tied to the theme of our season, but it just didn't take.
We're just venturing out a little bit.
Yeah. It actually came along and about because of some of your leaving the Midwest travels.
Exactly.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't never home.
Ever.
Mm.
And so, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in April, me and Keisha, we had went and took a trip to New Orleans.
For my
NOLA.
birthday. Well, me and my sister's birthday. Turned up Aries gang.
Gang.
And while we were there, we actually did a supernatural tour, right?
It was fun.
It was like a ghost tour.
The ghost tours are so good there.
And while we were doing that, we stopped at a bar where he let everybody go in and get like an Irish coffee and stuff like that. And so we stepped outside. First of all, I feel like crowded.
It was hot. It was crowded, and I just felt like Irish coffee would give me the bubble guts.
I had already had one that day.
Yeah, so I was cool.
And then I had switched to tequila. So.
Yeah, you have to be careful with mixing the liquors.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? My stomach is not going to sound like 2 boots in a dryer on my trip. So no thanks.
So we stepped outside, and the tour guide, he was out there. And so, we asked him. We were like, hey, so we do a podcast and, on true crime. And so he told us the story of Zack and Addy, which apparently is a very popular story in New Orleans.
It's actually sad.
It is. It really is. So, this is the story of Zack and Addy. So, Addy Hall and Zach Bowen are the two in our story. And Addy Hall was described as a free-spirited, she was feisty, independent artist.
Like myself. Jackie, I'm not an artist. Sorry.
But you feisty and independent.
And you know what? I will say, you are an artist in your own way. You are very good at decorating.
Yes.
And that takes that's an artful eye.
Look at my friends building me up today.
It's the truth, though.
It is.
Because can't everybody put stuff together, honey? They throw some stuff together and you be looking like,
let's say, looks good.
And everybody else is like, I don't know about that.
But yeah, so she was a poet, she was an artist, a dancer, and she also worked as a bartender in the French Quarter.
That seems like it'd be a great job. Like, honestly, okay, so y'all want to hear just a little sidebar of something that I am thinking about doing, not thinking about, I already got the link to it to do it. Getting the little bartender's license, because I feel like that would be a very fun, lucrative, like, you don't have to think about it too seriously because it's just bartending. But it just be like fun. You get to
talk to people.
I love talking to people. You get to pass some drinks, which makes them happy most of the time.
I like have my moments where my social battery is up, then it's down, then it's up, then it's down. Like,
and you only really have to do it when you kind of feel like it, because you have real jobs too. So you just do it every once in a while.
I don't know. I always wanted to find like another source of income. Like, well, I have other sources of income, but I just wanted to find a fun one. Like bartending would be fun, but
we could bartend together.
We can. I was about to say, be on the lookout next week. Y'all can see us in the
have some Murked drinks, baby. Y'all will be fucked up. You're gonna be like, this tastes like juice.
This weekend.
Listen.
I was definitely lit off this punch that was made. Like, it was like smooth, and then it was just like, wait a minute, when you stood up, like, hold on, sit back down.
That reminds me of my first time having Remy. Have y'all ever had Remy Martin? And that shit is so smooth.
And be like,
And you just drinking it because it's just like, it's like juice. You know how I say my certain...
Oh my God.
It's like juice.
With the
It's like chips.
Bush light.
It's like juice.
Anything that tastes like juice and it has alcohol in it, it is not juice. It's going to continue to glory later.
And so then when you finally stand up, and I stood up and the whole floor moved like this. And I was, okay. And I just sat back down. I said, I'm going to sit here for a while. Sit here. It's a nice couch.
Yesterday was the most I've drank beer in my entire life.
Really?
And I had I think I had like 3 cans.
That's so good.
I had a regular can of Bush Light, and then I had 2 of the peach.
That's so awesome.
I'm an adult.
That's awesome. I facilitated that. That was great.
But yeah.
I'm an occasional beer drinker. Occasional.
I had never tasted a beer that I could actually finish. I've tried multiple, but I could never.
There's ones that are out there that are good.
Yeah. I like Bud Platinum.
I never had that.
So let me tell you. So if you're looking for a low carb beer, because you know beer has lots of carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Low carb beer with a high ass alcohol content, it's like 13%. One beer, like I was like, oh, this ain't shit. You know.
You see what I mean?
Literally.
We talked about this yesterday with this one.
Yeah,
what?
we did.
You a sneaky one with
What?
because you know a lot of times you be like, oh, I don't like stuff that's too much, that's not sweet.
She's like, I don't like sweet wine.
But she gets you with the alcohol. This one like the
She
liquor.
come up with the 20% wine.
And then she gonna tell you about the 9,000% beer.
Yeah, like that. Alcohol
Okay, so go
content.
back to tell us about your
Okay.
13% beer.
So this Bud it's Bud Platinum. It's not like the size of a regular glass beer. It's like a slimmer one,
Okay.
and it's really good. But you got to be careful because I'm like, oh, it's low carb. I'm gonna be okay. You know, let me just try this. I tried it and I was like fucked up off one beer. Like I literally was just leaning. I was on the couch like. Like, girl, like, why am I this lit off of one beer? And I look, she leaning too. And I was just like, oh, okay. But it's strong.
Okay.
And it's an acquired taste, I will say.
I think beer overall is an acquired taste.
There's
True.
certain ones, though,
There are
I'm
certain
telling
ones,
you.
like the Bush, that was actually,
I like the craft.
I could finish
Yeah,
it.
craft
And
beers
then
are
the other
good,
one
yeah.
that you guys had too, where I was like, what does it taste like? She's like, it tastes like summer.
Yeah, the summer shandy.
Yeah.
It does. It does taste like
That
summer.
one was actually pretty good too. But anyways, back to the story.
We could talk alcohol all day.
So, Addie was a bartender in the French Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually grew up in a abusive home.
Oh.
And then she got into an abusive relationship. And it was her leaving that abusive relationship that led her to New Orleans.
Okay. So she's trying to break the cycle.
Yes.
That's good.
Yep. And so she was working as a bartender at the Spotted Cat.
The Spotted Cat. It's a great place, guys.
And
Sounds
so
like I need to add that to the list.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And then Zach, he was described as charismatic, charming, good-looking young man. And you know that guy that like left an impression on you, no matter you know. You meet him and you're gonna remember him.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
He gave you that energy that everybody kind of like wanted to be around.
Yep. I want to be his friend.
Mm-hmm.
So he grew up in California and kind of had that laid-back attitude.
He was like a surfer.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm so squirrel today. Don't hate me, guys.
Squirrel.
So I work with this guy. Well, I don't work with him right now, but I've worked with him. And he is so surfer. Like, he talks and he's like, dude, and he's hot. Like, he has.
Dude.
But he's like a dude. And he's like blonde. And it's like that, like, bleach blonde from, like, the sun bleaching it. And he has, like, these blue eyes. And he's like, his body is nice.
It's like,
And he's like, girl, like, and he just has that, like, that stance, like, yeah, I'm gonna catch
like,
some.
I know, like I'm that guy.
Yeah, like, oh my
Give
god.
me some fins, some noggin.
Yeah, so I can get with the Cali guy. I like that energy.
Yes. So Zach actually married when he was really young. He married to a woman named Lana. She was 10 years older than him. They had 2 children together, and so in order to take care of his children, he actually joined the Army. The Army? Really?
Army?
The Army.
The Army.
The
Shout out
Army.
to our Army.
Shout out to the Army.
Thank you for all of your
All
things
you
that you
do.
do.
Thank you for your
Thank service, your Army service.
Army. Anyways, so he joined the Army for the benefits it could provide.
Which are some pretty decent benefits.
Yes, but what's messed up is that he did this to provide for his family, and while he was gone, Lana took his 2 kids and left him.
Why she do that?
Because she's a bitch.
Lana, you dirty bitch.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Fight me.
This young man.
Right.
This young man.
Married your old.
And then joined the Army.
Yeah. To get with you. To take care of and provide for you, ma'am, and your children. Y'all children.
Leave him?
Leave him.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Lana.
Is she still?
I don't know.
She old, so.
Y'all know I'm
But
an
if she
FBI
is-
agent. I'm going to go find it.
If she is and you hear this, shame.
Shame.
Shame on you. No. That was weird. So, Zack was, of course, devastated, lonely. And so he ended up moving to the French Quarter, and he had found a lot of jobs after finishing his tours overseas. He did a tour in Iraq, and he did one in Kosovo.
Oh, man. Those weren't easy.
No, and so he actually did end up suffering from severe PTSD. And, of course, never found the help that he actually needed.
Help our vets, people, please.
So, Addy met Zack while they were both bartending in the French Quarter.
Okay.
It kind of started by, she was playing like that mean girl type of flirting, like giving him a hard time. Like, you know, like we've already said, he's that guy that everybody wants to be friends with. So he comes in, he's like, hey, and everybody's like, hey, Zack, and she's like,
it's the life of the party.
And she's like, you're not even that cool.
She's like, all like hair flip, eye roll.
Like, yeah.
And he's like, what's up, Addy? And she's like, hi, Zack.
Right.
Like, man, why you gotta play so mean?
Dude, get your arm off of me. I got stuff to do.
Stop,
yeah,
stop.
like, please.
But she was doing it as a test to see if he could actually like handle her. Because she had a wild side. So
Hi, ma'am.
she also did suffer from bipolar disorder, and she was not taking her medication regularly.
That sucks.
So she was known to have like angry, uncontrolled outbursts. And so one of the things that people will say about the relationship is that they remember that they used to have like some really outrageous fights that they would get into.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there was...
Oh, ma'am. You have to sit down. Sit down. What is going on around here?
Okay, so yeah, so they were known for like having lots of fights. They kind of like had a very like up and down relationship, and then drugs and alcohol got involved, and
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
rough.
thinking one suffers from severe PTSD and now is adding drugs and alcohol to that. One has bipolar disorder and is not taking her medication,
And is putting drugs and
and
alcohol.
is putting drugs and alcohol on top of that.
It's a bad. So I can speak to the bipolar disorder and drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So a person I dated was bipolar. He did have medication that he took sometimes. He would take it. He would feel better, then he'd stop. He would say he didn't like taking it because of how it made it feel. But then to deal with like the manicness, he would smoke weed and pop Xannies and stuff like that. And so it's like a bad cycle.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like every few months it would start again.
Yeah.
And so it's a very hard thing to balance. Like it's a never ending battle. And you have to have you have to be a very stable person, like a damn near saint to be able to deal with some shit like that. So I can't even imagine him having PTSD.
To be having to deal with that.
And he on drugs. Like he is so not fit and stable to deal. That was a mess.
Yeah.
A mess.
So they were dating, and when Hurricane Katrina came, they decided to stick out the hurricane at Addie's apartment. During the storm, they're stuck in. It was kind of like...
and they lived in the French Quarter, right? Mm-hmm. And they were nuts. Yeah. They were like the true diehard NOLA.
But I remember, like, from the ghost tour that we did, he did say it's some parts of the French Quarter that sits up high. Yeah. Because it's like some streets could be, like, severely flooded, but certain parts of the French Quarter, like, wouldn't even get touched because it sits so high up. It's so elevated. So I wonder that
was like, but then like you go to where we were in Midtown, where they had the signs on the doors of how high the water,
and the water was like taller than us.
So there's that, and then there's also, if you talk to people who live there, they have theories about why, because technically all of it is below sea level. And people who live, and I know people who live in New Orleans, they said that in certain wards, which were the poor wards, they heard bombs go off by the levees. Yeah, so they blew those levees because that French Quarter is where the money sits. They have those mansions that are over in the Medellin part, and so they blew the levees to take off the pressure off of the old, because all the levees are old. All of them are. But to avoid some of that pressure that was building on those, and to save that area, they flooded the poor parts.
I could believe it.
Yeah, I could believe it too.
Believe that.
But yeah, they talk about that, and
America.
Yeah, I mean,
this is America.
This is America. Look how I'm whipping up.
Y'all saw Trump that shot. Anyways, back to
I mean, not funny because a man lost his life. That is terrible. Protecting his family, which is absolutely obscene. I mean, our world is so crazy. We can't solve it. I can tell you that.
Well, they decided to stick it out in her apartment, and they're in this apartment together. They realized, you know what, we are deeply in love.
Love you, babe.
So it was like the COVID syndrome.
I love you. I love you. I can't live without you.
COVID broke up some couples and made other couples stronger.
Stick together. Yes.
Yeah, that's why we got so many COVID babies.
Baby, they was getting it in. They said, "Come here, I love you."
So after this, they were inseparable from that point. And they made a name for themselves as they served up drinks as bartenders, and then they would give meals to different people.
So they were doing the work of the
Katrina, So they were actually photographed for national magazines and newspapers after the devastating storm. They were interviewed about their choice to stay in the city, and so for a while they felt like royalty. On top of the world.
Because they were taking care of their city. People recognized them. They were getting notoriety.
Come together moment for the community as well.
Yeah.
Because that's all you had to lean on at that point.
Because, we saw what the government did for them. How long they stay in that damn Superdome.
Well, I had to do a research project on that, and I was sick as a dog. Like, all the shit that, I had to do. It was my senior year project of my undergrad, capstone. And I had to do the research and, the stories that you will pull up about everything that happened in that Superdome. Sick.
Really?
Fucking sick. Yeah, so, yeah.
I just remember some of the stories that I read about how people were using their boats to go grab people, and how long they had been on their roofs. How some people were so weak that they couldn't even stand, and they were dragging them off the roofs. How long they had been without water. I remember reading stories about people drinking their own urine. Just bad stuff, but it's it's interesting because we do live in what people like to claim is the greatest country in the world, but it's our responses to things that are so traumatic sometimes are so bad.
We are a well-developed third world country, and that's the hell I would die on.
I don't tend to disagree with you because you look at it so many times. Like, there's so many examples of poor. Like, look at the response to COVID. Look at how many people died from COVID that didn't have to. Whether you want to
healthcare infrastructure.
Yeah. If you want to say COVID was real, you don't want to say it was real. A lot of people died that they didn't just whatever it was. People died and they didn't just die because they wanted to. Yeah. If you look at the whole response to Katrina, that was bad. The whole response to Harvey.
Oh, Harvey.
And wasn't that's the one that hit Puerto Rico, right?
No, Harvey was the one that hit Houston.
What was the one that hit Puerto Rico? Okay.
Ida.
Was it? I was about to say because there was Hurricane Matthew happened around the same time as Hurricane Harvey.
What was the one where the paper towels were being thrown?
Ida. That was Ida.
In Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Remember when he was launching the paper
Matthew
towels?
was Bahamas?
Maybe. Because I just remember a few things that I thought were really fun and interesting from our TV dad. Mm-hmm. You know, because he talked with the president of Puerto Rico.
Yes.
You know, and also because he was launching paper towels with them like they were footballs. Here you go, guys. Woo! Got one for you. You got it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one it was.
And I mean, and those aren't the only things that are poor responses to. I mean, even look at like the responses to earthquakes and stuff. And
damn it. There's some websites that they won't let you read it unless you.
But yeah, like even our responses to earthquakes and other natural disasters and health outbreaks are just, they're deplorable. Yeah. Like we could do better.
Hurricane Maria.
That's what it was, Maria.
It's crazy, isn't it? Hurricane.
Girl, they be out of control. And then what's this one? Burl is doing.
She doing a number. Well, did a number.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything was going good for them until reality set back in. The lights in the city were turned back on.
Okay. Things start to go back to normal.
And, you know, the real cleanup began, and they were forced back into a lifestyle they weren't ready for. You know, again, like they weren't ready to go back to having to work and pay bills and be responsible adults.
So they were working, but the structure of society was hard for them. Yeah. They were better with just being able to do things, but having to manage, do bills, be responsible, or what society likes to call responsible, is not for them.
Yep, their bills piled up, job schedules came back, responsibilities returned, the bonfire in the middle of their street that they, you know, were cooking on was reduced to ash. So they did well when it was like this camping environment, like we're living off, you know,
off the land.
We ain't got to worry about paying our light bill because all the lights are off. We ain't got to worry about.
There is something to be said about that.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Because, you know, the Native Americans live that way, and a lot of what they used to like to call non-civilized communities live that way. Mm-hmm. And they lived well. There were no homeless people. People had things. They had what they needed. They didn't have a lot of luxuries, but they had what they needed. Yeah. And then our society was projected onto them, and then all of a sudden you have people that are homeless, people with substance abuse issues, and but it's a better life for them, right?
Yep.
Some people don't function like that.
Well, they came back to reality, and coming out of this, you know, bubble where it was just Addy and Zack, she was like, okay, I just want Zack. She didn't want his struggles or to have to deal with his ex-wife and his kids and
fuck them kids.
That's how she felt. The honeymoon phase was over, and so, you know, again, alcohol, drugs kicked back in. Violent fights would happen, and they began to drift apart.
They were fighting? I thought she was getting away from the abuse.
Well, it was more arguments, not abuse. Like he wasn't putting like his hands on her. And it was just, it was arguments.
Okay.
They began to drift apart, and so, you know, they were like, how can we reignite our passion? Like, what will work?
They should have went on a camping trip.
Let's get a new apartment together and start from scratch.
I don't think that was the answer.
I don't think it was. They walked down Rampart Street and came across a for rent sign. It was an apartment frame above a voodoo temple at the time. It was available immediately, and with months worth of tips that they had, they went on and made an offer and moved in. Shortly after they moved in, they unpacked a few boxes. Then all of a sudden, Addie went to go talk to her landlord, and she asked that the lease be in her name and her name only. Can anybody guess why?
She was kicking him out.
Same.
Why?
She was sick of his ass.
She saw the beginning of the end for them.
He cheated on her.
Oh, hell no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Whoop that ass.
Yeah.
She decided that was the last straw.
Yeah, it was.
You know, she had already been in an abusive relationship with men in the past.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, yeah, no, this is it. So the landlord wrote a handwritten contract and asked Addie to sort it all out in hopes that they would all get back together. Zack then learned about this little sneaky maneuver she did.
I want to say, you see how she just said he learned about her sneaky maneuver. But let's talk about your sneaky maneuver, sir. You put your peen in someone else, their vagine, okay?
Like that one, well, I don't think it was a TikTok. I think it might have been a Vine. How you suck dick on accident?
Baby. Fell asleep. I fell asleep and I fell over and just fell. Mouth was like, it.
I tripped and fell in
That's what happened. Was sleeping, slobbing right on the knob. That's what happened.
It just happened.
It just
I was cheated
happened.
on, and that was the reason they gave. It just happened.
It just happened.
I will beat your ass, then that'll just happen.
I was in high school. I was in my senior year going to college. About to go to college. And the guy I was with at the time, he was like, he came and he told me. And
see, that shit is just for them. Because truthfully, lie to me, bitch. I don't need to know that.
yeah. So he told me, and I was like, and it didn't hit me right then and there. I was quiet, and I was like, okay, bye. Then, like, I'm that person where later I have questions.
Yeah.
And I want answers to all of my questions.
Yes. And you should be able to answer them.
Yes, and I don't want you getting agitated and annoyed with me like I'm bothering you. You
Don't
disrupted my life.
Right. Don't get defensive with me.
Period.
So I'm asking questions. I'm like, so what? He was like, yeah, my friend asked me to go to his girl's house with him, and when we got over there, she had her friend there, and we kissed, and I was like, so y'all just kissed? And he was like, nah, I mean, why would we just kiss? Like, that's basically what he said. He was
I would have been like, oh.
So what you're telling me is that you went into a situation, a setup situation, to go get some pussy.
Yeah.
And why would we just kiss?
As if like I was crazy for asking that question. Like,
while you have a girlfriend.
When he said that they kissed, it was like I should have known that he was implying like we kissed and it went further. I'm like, nah, I need the exact details.
I need the details, sir. Yeah.
No vague stuff. Tell me what happened. So yeah.
Give me the play-by-play.
Yeah, he was like, it just happened. I'm like,
beat your ass.
It just so happened that you had a setup from your boy, and it was just y'all four. Okay, it just happened. No, sir, those were some in a court of law that ain't just happened. That's called you set that up. That was premeditation. Premeditated.
That was the time I was cheated on, and so I did the whole. This is my first time being cheated on. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's work it out. Nah, it didn't last for more than a month after that. And it was crazy because I went off to school, right? And then he broke up with me because he thought I was going to cheat while I was off to college.
Oh, you sure I am. Sure am. You're right.
Yeah.
So, remember how I said I have some bad qualities?
Yeah.
And pettiness is one of them? I'm 1,000% not the person who can let bygones be bygones. I can't do it. And so I know for myself, I know this now, but if you cheat on me, we're done.
Yeah.
Because if you cheat on me, I'm going to cheat on you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be worse.
I learned that because in another relationship, I was cheated on, and it didn't go as far as it was. It started as sexting. That was where I had caught it.
Oh.
I caught it at the sexting phase, and I called him out on it. And you know, he's all apologetic and stuff like that or whatever. And I was like, yeah. And so I'm like, well, how would you feel if I did that? Or I was like, how would you feel if I went out and had sex with somebody? Of course, I put it in the most crude form that I could think of. And he was hurt. Like, why would you even say that?
I mean, clutching his pearls.
I was like, yeah. I don't know. And so,
I don't know why I would say that.
So then things cool. Oh, he like, oh, she cool. I'm smiling and stuff like that or whatever. And one day we was just chilling. I was like, I think about cheating on you. And he was like, what? I was like, I think about cheating on you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm telling you. And so I was like, it was like maybe like a couple weeks later. I was like, we should probably break up. And he wouldn't let me break up with him. He's like, nah, we together. I'm like, we breaking up. He like, nah, we together. So then I went and cheated. And
oh Lord.
But in my mind, we weren't together because I broke up with you.
I told you.
I told you I was not cheating on you. I broke up with you whether you accepted it or not. But then after I tell you I didn't have sex with somebody else, it's like, oh
my God. Well, I will just say this. Once you cheat on me, it's not me cheating on you. It's just payback.
Once you cheat on me, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm not even gonna bother cheating back because I already know the type of people that's in my DMs, and I already know the type of people that I can get with. But it's just leaving you alone, knowing that you don't want to leave me alone, is all of the. It gives me a great satisfaction. I'm not saying y'all wrong for doing what y'all want to do. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying that I feel like removing myself, knowing that you don't want me to remove myself, and seeing me move on to somebody else. And I don't, what I like to do, and I'm pretty sure a few of my exes or situationship people can admit to that, but like once we are done and over with, I will go on a date, and like I will literally post a picture like boom on a date, like, you know, got his hand
with the hand on the two glasses,
got the two glasses. So now you dry heaving, crying and throwing up, you projectile vomiting, your heart is in your asshole, like you feeling a little nauseous, and it's just like knowing that I'm doing that, it's just great because it's like now my phone is blowing up. Like now I know by the time I go back to my phone, it's, oh really, bitch, you on another date, you just gonna leave me alone like this? But when you did what you did, it was cool. That's why I always say, don't engage in behaviors you don't want to be a part of, because when I do it, you go low, I'm taking it to the flow. Listen,
to hell. Straight to hell is where I'm going. And that's exactly where I go. And that's exactly why I do it, because men can't handle what they do to you. They cannot. They cannot. They feel like they can cheat on you and you should accept it. But if you cheat on them, that's like a knock to their pride and their manhood. And that's why I don't mind doing it. Because if you cheat on me, I'm going to cheat on you.
So I after that whole situation, which I still don't think, I don't count it as cheating because I broke up with him. I just want to say that. But after that, I was very much so like, if I ever got cheated on or caused some stuff like that, I was immediately like, whoop, okay, bye. And I do have that attitude of like, once I'm done with you, I'm done. Like,
I ain't crying.
Back. Like, I ain't doing none of that.
There's no coming back.
There's no coming back, and if I come back, I'm coming back for a reason, and the reason, and it's not, like I said, it's not to cheat back. It's to know that you're not going to get the same version of me that you had once before. Yeah. So it's like,
because there's no trust ever again after that.
And now I'm looking at you, so then it's just like, you like, oh, you're not affectionate to me no more.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're not this to me no more. I'm dapping you up and shit. Like,
what up, my dog?
Like, you just seen me out at the store and you just gonna
like,
dap
I'm
me
definitely
up.
acting like I'm
gonna act like you one of my homies. Like, what's up, friend? And they hate that.
And let us be living together. Like, you a roommate now.
Like, they hate that. Like, somebody who I let go of talking to. Like, I was like, I saw them out in public and I was like, what's up, friend? That friend? that word friend fuck them up. They're
Good.
like, oh damn. So
That's all we were.
damn.
That's all you
friend.
is.
That's all you is.
And that's
Handshake,
being
ain't
friendly.
no hug.
Yeah, that's actually me.
Oh my God.
What's good, my guy? What's up?
I was like, that's cool.
That's
Alright.
cool. That's what's up.
But back to the story.
Yeah, but she sneakily. That's
Pause.
Did you have to go past?
Let's go.
Yeah, but
Ow.
God, dog. Look at him. My Jesus.
alright, so
And that ponytail keep getting wilder and wild about a minute.
as we said, Zach found out about this and he was not very happy.
Poor Zach. No one gives a shit.
So here's what happens. All of a sudden, Zach is going out, right? And he ain't got Addy no more. And they like, well, where's she at? And they like, he like,
Your
she
girl
left me.
dipped.
She up and left me. And people were like, that sound like her. They like, he was like, she went back to North Carolina. So some were surprised because they knew that she loved New Orleans, but other people were like, yeah, she, you know,
She's flighty.
yes, exactly.
She's bipolar. She could, one day she like this, next day she's something else.
Yep. And so Zach was out, he partying, he seeing strippers and
Not the
where's the
strippers.
bunny rabbit out there? Squirrel.
Hi, bunny.
He going to strip clubs and he spending all this money. He in there like all drinks on me. And everybody like, okay, I'll take the drink, but bro, how you affording this? We know you ain't got money like that, right? So on Tuesday evening of October 17th, 2006, Zach was at the Omni Royal Orleans Hotel. And he was in there drinking, right? And the bar is like, hey, bro, you need to pay your bill. He like, okay, cool.
Pay my bill.
I'll pay it on my way out.
He got a tab, baby.
I'll pay it on the way out. He goes up to the 7th floor and jumps off.
He turned into a fine mist. Scattered body parts.
I was not expecting that part of the story. What the?
When you can't pay your bill, off yourself.
Unalive yourself.
Unaliving ourselves. We go for the gusto.
Yeah. That was
So he jumped off the building. He had a handwritten note and his army dog tags inside of a plastic bag in his back pocket. And he had the gate keys to Addy's apartment in his front pocket. The letter said police only, and it led detectives to the home of Addy and Zach's landlord for questioning. Once the landlord pointed them in the right direction, they found out that Zach's letter was very, very, very true. So, let me read the letter to y'all.
The letter is gross.
He says, this is not accidental. I had to take my own life to pay for the one I took. If you send a patrol car to 826 North Rampart, you will find the dismembered corpse of my girlfriend, Addy, in the oven, on the stove, and in the fridge, in a full signed confession from myself, Zach Bowman.
Cryptic as hell.
So, they go to the apartment.
Oh my God.
And they're walking in this apartment, and the first thing they notice is there is no smell, and it's freezing. The air conditioning had been set to 60 degrees and was set on full blast. The bathroom was clean. On the walls were he had used like silver spray paint to write I love her, I'm a total failure, and then he had look in the oven with an arrow pointing to the stove door. So,
Oh my God.
at the scene, they found Addy's journal with writings from Zack in it. And he said, today is Monday, the 16th, October 16th, 2 a.m. I killed her at 1 a.m. Thursday, October 5th. So this was 2 weeks later that he killed himself. So her body he had killed her 2 weeks earlier.
How was it no smell?
Because he had it so cold.
But 60 degrees, but
that still ain't that cold.
Still ain't that cold, you know, but damn.
So, it would have been 2 weeks. He killed her, spent all the money that he had left, committed suicide. So, he says, I very calmly strangled her. It was very quick. Halfway through the task, I stopped and thought about what I was doing. The decision to halt the first idea and move to plan B, the crime scene you're in now, came after a while. I scared myself not by the action of calmly strangling the woman I've loved for 1.5 years and then desecrating her body, but by my entire lack of remorse. I've known for forever how horrible of a person I am. Ask anyone. And decided to quit my jobs and spend the $1,500 cash I had being happy until I killed myself. So that's what I did. Good food, good drugs, good strippers, good friends, and any loose ends I may have had. I didn't contact any of my family, so that'll explain the shock. And had a fantastic time living out my days. It's just about time now. So he wrote that the day before he killed himself.
Oh my God.
So
that is absolutely awful. And it speaks to mental illness not being addressed. I understand that he's a vet, but a lot of times it is very difficult for vets to actually get the assistance that they need.
Yeah.
It is definitely getting better than what it was before, but
it's still not where it should be.
No.
The things that they sacrifice.
And the things they see and deal with. Like, I think my true opinion, and this is me, I mean, I know it's not the answer for everything, but I believe before they are even allowed to join, I don't know, have either of you ever tried to go into the military?
My mom talked me out of it when I was younger. So.
I think it was something where they said I couldn't because I was an insulin dependent diabetic or something.
Okay. So I did try to join the military. I went through the whole process. Like, you go to the MEP center, they do a physical evaluation, you have to run, you have to do all this stuff. They check you out. They do drug screenings and stuff on you. I passed everything except for the vision because I have very poor vision. But one thing that they don't check is they don't check your mental health. You don't talk to a psychologist. You don't talk to, and I don't know if it's different now because that was literally, I was right out of high school because that's what I was going to do. But no one talks to you about your mentality and what you think and do you have trauma and have you been abused. But it shouldn't be that way because you're teaching them, you are making them a weapon. Yeah. Now, think about in high school, did you have any friends that were like boxers or new martial arts? They were considered a weapon.
Yeah, they were like licensed. Their hands were considered like
weapons.
Registered weapons. Yeah.
Because they weren't allowed to fight. They could actually go to jail if they hurt someone because they were considered weapons. But now you're training people to teach them how to kill.
I want to do boxing.
Yeah, it would be cool. Sorry. But you're teaching them to kill and you're not giving any forethought to, is this person psychologically capable of making a healthy choice of to kill or not? Like, that's a huge thing. And then there's not a lot of aftercare. Like, after you do a tour, I'm sorry, if you have to discharge your weapon, you should have to go to therapy, just like a police officer does. After you see someone die, even if you don't kill them, you should have to go to therapy. That's just...
And it shouldn't be just checking the box therapy.
No. It should be a certain amount of hours and criteria and a certain amount of talking that has to happen and a certain amount of work. And it may seem like, oh my God, this is a huge expense, but they're worth it. They put their lives on the line for us to have all these freedoms that we enjoy. And what, really, is there a dollar amount that we can put on that? I don't think that there is.
And coming from somebody who, like, my dad was in the military. One of my closest friends was in the military. When they got out the military, and I'm not saying this because I don't know if that's 1,000% true, but like, you go in normal, like you go in like your regular functioning stuff, but when you come out, you come back with all these problems. And I'm not saying that for everybody, but I'm just saying that for the people that I know. Like, when my dad got out the army, my dad was fucked up in the head. Like, he was so fucked up in the head.
You know, my uncle
One of my
was
close friends
up.
fucked up in the head. Like, she did not want to be left alone. She didn't want to be alone. But
Because
like,
she didn't trust herself?
yeah, and so it's just like, you know, like, I love you to death, but I got my own life. I got to go do this. So you leaving me. We not friends, you know. So she would have this complete, like, lash out thing. And so it's just like, she wanted to go with you everywhere, every waking moment of the day. Like, oh, I'm going to take the dogs out. Okay, I'm going to come with you. Oh, okay, I'm about to run to the store. Okay, I'm coming with you. Like, they had to be with somebody. And it strained our friendship. Like, I'm just like, you need to get help. And it's just like, they got the help and it got a little better, but then it's just like, you can't, in those type of situations, you can't just go get the medicine, take the medicine, and that be it.
No, because it needs to be, you have to get that stuff out of you.
Yes, work on yourself. But, and I don't know how, like, programs are, like, set up today. And that's what kind of has me concerned, like, especially having another family member that just went off to the military, and that I'm scared, you know. But it's just even now seeing veterans, like, that's one of the worst things. How we were just talking about America, how it's like a shitty place. Like, it's just like, I see homeless people, they're veterans. I see mental health issues and they veterans. Okay, those are the people that we should really be taking care of. Why are they on the streets? Why don't they have the care that they need? Yeah, you got the VA hospital, but are they doing enough?
They've really improved. They really have improved. So this is not just a complete not, because honestly, America is a great place, but then there are things that are shitty and need to be a lot better. But the truth of the matter is those stories that you're saying about your friends and your family, those are repeated in my family. Like, my uncle was in the military. He literally killed himself. You know, I have a cousin who is in the military, and I'm not going to tell all her business, but she has been affected. It has literally affected her and her day-to-day and who she is. It's things that they see, and it's like, they'll never be the same. It doesn't matter the medication, you know, and yes, they can talk and they can get to a point where they function, but they're forever changed. You know, and so it's like you said, like, it's not right to see them and they're homeless and they're gone out of their mind and then they're just overlooked. Like, come on. Like, don't just discard them like garbage. So, on that note, I do have a couple of things, because this was a very heavy ending, and just some points for where you can get assistance if you are suffering with any form of mental health struggles where you need some help. The National Helpline, which is available 24/7 every day of the year. They have English and Spanish options. The phone number is 1-800-662-4357. And then there's also a suicide crisis hotline, which you can reach on any phone by dialing 988. Okay.
All right, you guys. So that is the story of Zack and Addy. That's going to wrap up this week's episode.
Not so Murked in the Midwest.
Not so Murked in the Midwest. And we can't wait to see you guys next week. As always, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friend, family, your auntie, uncle, cousin, brother, sister, baby daddy, baby mama, best friend, ex-best friend, everybody. The people that your cashier at Aldi.
Right.
Tell everybody to go and follow us at Murked in the Midwest.
Yes.
We are on all platforms, all listening platforms. We are on all forms of social media. So please go follow. If you have a case that you would like us to cover, you can leave a comment, or you can go email us at murkedinthemidwest@gmail.com.
And make sure that you like and subscribe right underneath where you're watching us right now. And as always, we appreciate you.
Bye.
Don't murder anybody. Bye.